everyone. Welcome back to Rehanna's Cuisines. Today is going to be a quick tutorial on how to show you, showing you how to make a glaze for donuts. So I got here 1 cup of powdered sugar, which is the same as confectioner's sugar or icing sugar. And to that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by adding about a tablespoon of milk and stirring it. So this was 3 tablespoons. To this, I'm also going to go ahead and add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of fresh vanilla, which I use the Madagascar vanilla bean paste, which has no alcohol in there, and a pinch of salt. And you're ready to start dipping your donuts or anything you want in there.
Hey guys, today we're making a delicious treat called tangkolo. Essentially, it's fresh fruit coated in crunchy caramel. The combination of the juicy fruit with the hard candy is incredible. I'm using strawberries today because it's my favorite fruit to use, and if you've never tried this, you'll be obsessed. So we're essentially making caramel. So please be careful. If you're a kid, get an adult to help you out. Do not make this alone. To the saucepan, you're going to add the sugar and some water, and I also like to add some honey for flavor. Your pan should be over low heat. Do not stir this mixture or it may crystallize. You can, however, gently swirl the pan, and as soon as the majority of sugar has dissolved into the water, you can turn your flame to medium and bring this to a boil. If you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and click that bell. I post new videos every week. Now, if you have a thermometer, you want the temperature to reach 150 degrees Celsius or 300 Fahrenheit, also known as the hard crack stage on your thermometer. This is going to take anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes. It really depends on your flame. Now, if you don't have a thermometer, what you can do is cook this to a slightly, and I mean slightly, higher temperature, and you'll know it's ready because the mixture will turn a slight amber color. At this point, turn off your flame immediately or the sugar will burn and taste bitter. I like to add 1 or 2 drops of red food coloring, and you'll see why in just a moment. You're going to dip your strawberries into the mixture using a wooden skewer and swirl the berries to coat them completely, and you're going to place these onto some parchment paper to cool. Now, this is why I like to add red food coloring, because if you have some strawberries that have some green bits, such as this one, when you coat them in the mixture, they'll turn a vibrant red. So no matter how the strawberries look, guys, they'll always turn a beautiful red. The strawberries will harden pretty quickly, but just to be safe, wait at least 10 minutes before you eat these. Not only are these delicious, guys, but they're so much fun to eat. And there's really a handful of foods, guys, you can say that about, okay? The hot syrup basically softens the berries, so when you bite into it, you get this crunchy candy exterior, but that juicy berry that just explodes with deliciousness. It's a very unique and amazing texture that you'll only fully understand if you make these.
Hey guys, I'm John Setzler. Welcome back to Atlanta Grill Company. Today we're going to fire up one of the Kamado Joe classics, and we're going to make some sweet citrus glazed pork tenderloins. So let's get started. The first thing I want to do here is introduce you to the stars of the show today. I've got a couple of really nice looking pork tenderloins here, and to get started, I'm going to season these guys with the Atlanta Grill Company Man Cave Meals Pork Mojo. I'm just going to get a nice liberal coat all the way around. And once I have that nice coat on here, you can go straight to cooking from this point, but I like to let this seasoning, especially with the salt in here, go to work on this meat. So I'm going to wrap these guys up in plastic and let them live in the refrigerator for a few hours, or you can go up to overnight with that. The next thing I want to do here is make my sweet citrus glaze that we're going to use on this. So I'm going to start with a small saucepan, and I'm going to add a cup and a half of orange juice. I've got 1 cup of brown sugar, and I've got a half of a cup here of orange marmalade. And then I've got a 1/4 of a cup of honey. I've got a half a cup of Grand Marnier. You can use triple sec if you like. And then I've got to put in about a tablespoon or so of Dijon mustard, a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. And I'm going to turn that on medium-high heat and bring this up to a simmer. And once that comes up to a slow simmer, I'm going to back the heat down a little bit, and we're going to let that simmer until it thickens up a little bit. After about 30 minutes or so, this stuff has reduced enough and thickened enough that I'm happy with the consistency of that. So I'm going to turn the heat off and take that off the burner and just put the lid on it, and we're going to hold that aside for now. I used a charcoal chimney to light up some charcoal to get going, and I'm using the Kamado Joe Classic 3 with the heat divider in the firebox there, and I'm going to set one of my Half Moon grill grates directly over that fire, and I'm going to set the other half on the upper side up here. And to get started, I've taken some of my sauce that we made and I've put it in a pan that we're going to use as we cook. So I'm going to give this grill just a few minutes to warm up here, and then we're going to put our tenderloins on. Okay, I have unwrapped my tenderloins. We're going to put these down here on the grate and start getting some sear on these guys. So I'm going to put them both over the direct fire, and we're going to turn these fairly frequently. I'm going to go ahead and move this grate down from the center position to the lower position to get that over a little more intense heat. I don't want to cook these too slowly, and then we'll just go from here. And as these guys are cooking, I don't want to let them sit too long in one spot. I want to keep these guys turning. I don't want to get too much char built up on the outside, because we are going to put a little bit of this glaze on here as we go. I'm going to let these cook for about a minute like this, and then we're going to bring them up here and roll them in the glaze and put them back. Okay, and from here I'm just going to pick these guys up, bring them up here into my pan with the glaze in it, and just put them in there, kind of turn them in the glaze, and then bring them back down onto the grate. This is a great way to build flavor. We'll let them cook just a little longer. We'll keep turning them and keep rolling them in the glaze. And as you can see, as we do this, we're developing some really nice color, some really nice crust, and a really nice little char on the outside of these tenderloins. So just keep on doing this rotation. Bring them up into your glaze, roll them in it, and bring them back down over the fire. And just keep doing that until you're happy with what the outside of these look like. Okay, I'm about at a situation here where I'm happy with what the outside of these guys look like. So I'm going to bring them up over here onto the indirect side of the grill, and I'm going to keep on cooking these until I've got my internal temperature up to my preference on these, which is about 135, and I will close the lid during this part of the process. Okay, we're still cooking along. I even tossed a little chunk of hickory in there to make a little smoke, and we'll take some of this glaze that we've got left behind, drizzle it right over the top of these guys while they finish up. It's not going to be too long now. Okay, after just a few more minutes, these guys are ready. They're temping about 130 degrees, so I'm going to get these off the grill and let them rest for a few minutes. Okay, I've let these rest for a few minutes, so I'm going to slice these guys. I'm going to slice one of these open. I'm going to slice it on the bias here. And man, those look delicious. They smell absolutely amazing. I wish you could have a smell of this. Let me just pull one of these guys and have a look at that. That's perfect medium rare pork tenderloin, and what I'm going to do is kind of spread that out just a little bit there, and we're going to give it a little drizzle with some of that sauce we reserved. And guys, that's a beautiful pork tenderloin, so you're going to have to give this a try. Let me know what you think. Until next time, this is John Setzler with Atlanta Grill Company.